After your pet dies, are you ready for a new animal in your life, is the subject of this question. I had someone ask, how long after the death of my dog should I wait to get another dog? And this is really a hard one to answer because it's going to be different for everyone. We have some people who only wait a few days to a few weeks, and then we have other clients who will hold out for months. And then we have there are a few people who just decide they don't want to have a dog anymore, and it's a different situation for everyone. And there's not really any one right answer for everyone, but I can just give some advice on things that we've seen, pitfalls that we've seen, and things that you want to think about before you decide if you're ready for another pet. And probably the most common thing that we see is, are you rushing to get a new pet to avoid actually grieving about the loss of your old pet? And that's not 100% a wrong thing to do, because honestly, a new pet can be a great way to heal from losing an old pet, but it can also be kind of an easy out. And it's really normal to be sad and kind of lonely for a while. And I'll say too that a lot of times people who don't have pets just don't understand. They don't get it, that your pet can really be, I hate to say it, but as close and sometimes even closer to you than some humans are. And partly that's just the nature of animals. Like, your dog is going to love you whether you're in a bad mood or a good mood, or whether you smell good or smell bad. And, humans are not always that forgiving, but your dog just loves you no matter what. So it's unconditional love, and it can be really, really hard to get over it. And a lot of non-animal lovers are just not going to get it. So you do have to be aware, though, if you rush right into getting another pet, that you need to accept that pet on their own terms. Each pet's going to be unique and have its own personality. And sometimes if you just rush right in and get another pet, you're going to be disappointed, or you're going to be resentful of that animal when it just doesn't live up to your expectations of its predecessor. That's especially true if you have an older pet that dies, and that pet was maybe fully housebroken and knew its role in the family, and then you get a new animal in that's just going to throw everything into chaos and needs to be walked and needs to be housebroken. So you don't want to jump in so quickly that you end up getting frustrated with your new pet. You got to think of all the responsibilities that are going to go along with getting a new dog, and you're going to need to train it, and you're going to probably need to exercise it more if it's a younger pet than the one that you lost. So the other thing I'll say too, sometimes people almost feel relieved when their pet dies, especially if it's an older dog that had a long illness and had a serious disease that went on for a long time. Some people feel guilty that they don't feel sadder. And you just got to feel what you're going to feel. It is okay if your animal had a really, really long, illness, that you do feel kind of relieved when it's finally over for them. The other question to ask yourself is, are you feeling pressure to adopt another pet? A lot of times, people will ask you kind of insensitively, so when are you going to get another dog? Like you can just replace the one that you lost with a new one. It doesn't matter. It almost makes you, it belittles the relationship that you had with the pet that died. So you got to make sure that you're not getting a new pet just because you feel pressured to do it. And a lot of times it'll be by family members, and a lot of times it'll be by kids. The kids will say, let's get another dog, Mommy, but maybe you're not ready to yet. So everyone in the family really has to be on the same page and ready to take care of a new pet. And you have to keep in mind too that if your kids, or if there's another family member that's pressuring you to get another dog, well, are they going to be the ones that are taking care of it, or do they want to get a new dog, and then here you've got this dog that you weren't even ready for yet, and you're having to walk it and you're having to clean up after it? So don't let anybody pressure you into it. And sometimes that pressure comes from friends who will send you links to animals at the local shelter. Chances are, if you are a pet owner, you have this innate instinct to want to care for animals in need, but you have to know that you are not responsible for every single animal that needs a home. So, sometimes you feel guilty, like, well, I do have this space available, and here's this poor dog at the shelter, and it was abused, and, and you feel guilty, so you adopt it for that reason. And again, just don't let anybody pressure you into it. On the other hand, sometimes we see people that just feel guilty, like their old dog, like they're destroying the memory of their old dog by getting a new one. They're just replacing it, and that's gonna, mean that their previous pet wasn't special and irreplaceable, and a soul, the special soul that they were. So one way to kind of think of it is that it's almost the best tribute that you can give to your departed pet, to bring another one in and care for it. It's almost like paying it forward. So I wouldn't do it not do it because you feel guilty over not honoring the pet that you lost. So I don't know. Those are some things to watch out for. There's really no perfect answer. And a couple things that you might want to consider. You don't always have to jump right in and adopt another dog. You could maybe foster a dog. Just a lot of the animal shelters, including Baywater here in Cambridge, you can foster a dog and see, is this dog the right age, the right personality, the right energy level? And if it's not, you're not completely committed, but yet you've given that dog a really nice place to live, during that time that it was fostered, rather than being in the kennel that whole time. So that's just something else to think about.